Here's what Trump actually said yesterday about getting back to work for Easter.
I'd love to have it open by Easter. Okay, I would love to have it open by Easter. I will tell you that right now. I would love to have that. It's such an important day for other reasons, but I'll make it an important day for this too. I would love to have the country opened up and just raring to go by Easter.
Okay, and here's what Fauci, the doctor, said about that.
It's a back and forth. The president clearly listens. I mean, he has this aspirational goal of hoping that we might be able to do it by a certain date. We talk to him about that. We say we need to be flexible. He realizes that and he accepts that. I mean, he doesn't want to give up his aspirational goal, but he's flexible enough to say, okay, let's look at it on a day-by-day basis. We say, and we will, give him data to inform the decision.
So that seems to me like things are working well. An optimistic president who understands that the economy matters as well as people's health, that the economy is the way people support each other. I mean, Chuck Schumer is saying, oh, we're going to pay, the federal government is going to be paying your salary. Well, no, it's not. No, it's not. The taxpayers are going to be paying the salary, and the taxpayers can't pay taxes if they don't have a salary. They don't understand that that's how this is, that the money, Chuck Schumer does not understand that the money he lives on is coming from us. It comes from the work we do. He is just sucking that up. He is not earning that money. He is not creating that wealth. We are. We're creating the wealth. He's living off it. So that's the way that works. And once he understands that, maybe he'll get a little scared and think, oh, if the economy shuts down, even I won't get paid. Then it'll be serious. So that's what happened. Trump said it would be great if we could open for Easter. Fauci said, he's listening to us. The Surgeon General said this as well. We go in and we talk to him. He listens to us. He's got to stay flexible. We know that Trump is a flexible guy. Here's how the networks played this story. This is cut number one.
Mixed messages tonight at a time we can ill afford it. COVID cases are exploding, doubling every few days in some communities in this country. Now with calls at the state level growing louder and more insistent for Americans to isolate, President Trump, focused on boosting the economy, is talking about ways to get back to business soon, putting him on a potential collision course with public health experts who say this is no time to lower our guard.
But that proposed timeline goes against what his top health advisor told NBC News just days ago about how long the pandemic will last. The president arguing the White House's social distancing guidelines could be eased to allow Americans back on the job.
What the president is now saying about his own guidelines from the White House to keep social distance, now saying he wants to restart the economy by Easter. President Trump's words going against what many of his own health experts have said. The president saying we lose thousands of people to the flu, but we don't shut the country off.
Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man.
Once again, this is the disaster, the hysteria. First of all, it's to draw you to the news. Second of all, it is to bring down Donald Trump. That is the whole purpose of it. These guys cannot get off that little train track. And it is time to stop. It really is time to stop. It really is time to knock it off, I mean, during a normal political time, some bare knuckle, fighting is okay. We understand that the press is a Democrat organ. The networks are not they're not news sources. They're just sources of Democrat information. CBS a little bit fairer than the others, I think, but still we understand what they are. We understand they're anti-Trump Democrat, news that they're sending out to us. It's time to stop. I mean, really, it really is. People are losing lives. People are losing wealth. People are losing, a lot, and they're afraid and they're anxious. It's time. It's just time to stop. And, you think back for a minute. Think back to when people were saying, I don't think the FBI and the CIA should be spying on Donald Trump. And remember the hysteria where suddenly he said that we were destroying people's faith in our institutions, our sacred institutions, the intelligence community, which after all only has spied on everybody forever. And they were so upset when they abused those privileges that they have. They abused those powers that they have against people like Martin Luther King, as they should have been upset about that, but not upset when they abused them about Donald Trump. Then it was all Donald Trump. And anybody who criticized them was undermining our faith in our institutions. And yet this just constant drumbeat against Trump. All he is saying is that he hopes for this, and it is something that we need to keep looking at again and again, because the economy matters. I mean, he talked about losing people. I think this was cut. Let me see. I think it's cut 14.
You're going to lose a number of people to the flu, but you're going to lose more people by putting a country into a massive recession or depression. You're going to lose people. You're going to have suicides by the thousands. You're going to have all sorts of things happen. You're going to have instability. You can't just come in and say, let's close up the United States of America, the biggest, the most successful country in the world by far.
And that's just literally true. Here's a Lancet study found almost 5,000 excess suicides between 2007 and 2009. A 2013 study in the BMJ Medical Journal found similar suicide increases, especially in men. When people are out of work, it destroys them. We know there's also all those deaths from OxyContin and heroin and all the other things that people take when they feel that they've lost their way and they've lost their usefulness and their meaning. He's absolutely right. And the thing that we're talking about is we're talking about graded return to work. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick talked about this, about old people holding back and young people going out to work. And we're talking, I think it's going to be closer to 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, that's my own personal guess, that it's not going to be as soon as Easter. But still, it's worth looking at all along, and it's worth being confident, and it's worth being optimistic. We didn't play this yesterday, I don't think, the Dan Patrick talking about what old people should do.
What we all care about and what we love more than anything are those children. And I want to live smart and see through this, but I don't want the whole country to be sacrificed. And that's what I see. I've talked to hundreds of people, Tucker, and just in the last week, and making calls all the time, and everyone says pretty much the same thing, that we can't lose our whole country. We're having an economic collapse. I'm also a small businessman. I understand it. And I talk with business people all the time, Tucker. And my heart is lifted tonight by what I heard the president say, because we can do more than, one thing at a time. We can do two things. So, my message is that let's get back to work. Let's get back to living. Let's be smart about it. And those of us who are 70 plus, we'll take care of ourselves, but don't sacrifice the country.
Thank you for tuning into The Daily Wire, one of the fastest growing conservative media outlets in the country. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of our content.